Hey guys, how's it going? This is Behes for you, and today I've got an anime review for you. It is Guilty Crown. I just finished the series today, and today we're going to be talking about what went on in the series, a little bit of spoilers for you guys. But before I get started, I just want to say a little disclaimer, letting you guys know that all the contents on this video are for review purposes only, and that anything that I say is just my personal opinion, so no offense to anyone or how they feel about this series and stuff. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Guilty Crown is produced by Production I.G, which is a really huge major corporation animation studio. One of the best. They also did some movies for Kill Bill. Director Tetsuro Araki, he's the one who also did Death Note, Black Lagoon, and High School of the Dead. Writer is Hiroyuki Yoshino, and he's assistant writer for Code Geass. If you love Code Geass, I'm a huge fan. He's also did My Hime, and he's done Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny and a few other stuff like that. So let's get to it. So what is Guilty Crown really about? Well, Guilty Crown is, it follows a post-apocalyptic story where December 24th, 2029, a huge epidemic viral thing hits Japan. They call it the apocalypse virus, and what it does, it engulfed the people of Japan, which made them get infected with this crystallization kind of thing going on. So once you're super infected, you get really crystallized and then you dissolve and die, basically. So when that happened, this organization called GHQ organization, they come in and decide, you know what, we'll help you guys for your expenses to give up your independence. So in turn, the Japanese people get cured, but on the downside, they got no independence. They're pretty much under the controls of GHQ. There's this group called Funeral Parlor, and what they are is a resistance group within Japan that tries to liberate Japan again. He's run by this this character named Guy, and we'll get into more of him later. But basically, yeah, what they try to do is try to bring back Japan's independence, but also, you know, try to help the people who are sick and needy with the virus. Now, the story begins where you see our main character, Shu Oma. His character, let me talk about his character a bit. He basically, if you've ever seen Evangelion, if you've ever seen Code Geass, if you've ever seen Final Fantasy VII Advent Children or played the game, then you know you could take Shinji Ikari, you could take Lelouch V. Britannia, and you could take Cloud Strife from those three people, and if they do like a fusion dance, then you get Shu Oma. He's like Shinji Ikari in a way where at the beginning of the story he tends to run away from problems and he doesn't want to face them. And after he acquires this certain power, which we'll get into later, he becomes more of a tyrant king like Lelouch V. Britannia. He's after that he's more of like the depressed kind of guy, but he's still badass because he has this awesome power. He's just like kicking ass. He's like Cloud in that sense. But yeah, that's how I describe him as a character. He's got that potential growth like Simon in Gurren Lagann, so that's a one-up for him. How he acquires this power is that he meets this girl named Inori Yuzuriha, and if I'm saying that right, Inori, I'm just gonna call it Inori, and she's basically a vessel for another person inside her named Mana. She's kind of like the antagonist of the story. While Inori is in danger, Shu decides to, you know what, I'm not going to run away this time, I'm going to try and save this girl, because he really likes her. So he runs out, he comes, saves her, and then he gets this power because, he gets almost gunned down from these giant robots, and he somehow gets this power from his right arm, which they call the king's power or something like that. And what he does, what that power does, is enables him to reach inside people and extract a void or a weapon, a unique weapon of that certain individual. Basically, this void, this weapon he uses to fight back the enemies, are also those individuals' hearts. So if something happens to that void, whether it gets destroyed, you know, that individual will crystallize and die. and it happens a couple times in the series. But that's how he gets his power, and the story pretty much focuses on him. He's the main character, and you're following him around. And the other person that I want to mention is Guy, the guy who brings up Funeral Parlor, who's the leader, and he's everything that Shu isn't. He's confident, he's strong-willed, he's a really, noble guy, and he knows what he's fighting for. He plays an important role because you later on find out that they were actually best friends, and everything's all intertwined, especially with Inori and Guy and Shu. They are just like connected in the past, but certain memory losses happen and they kind of forget until a few series later, until you find out. But yeah, so Guy pretty much just tries to enforce Shu to help him out with Funeral Patrol. First Shu is just like regretting it, doesn't want to do it, and then he decides, yeah, he'll help him out. Certain events happen, and Guy dies, and then he comes back to life, and then basically Guy becomes a really, really bad guy. He's like a dick to everyone, especially Shu, and his character starts to remind me of Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII, because he's got his golden hair turns into like white. He wields a huge sword. I'm like, wow, that's okay. And I liked him at first, and he got even more badass during the second part of the season. After all of that, so that you just focus on Shu and how he kind of brings independence back to Japan and gets rid of the virus. That's what the anime is about. Now, there are other characters in this series, but there's so many to name, and I can't go and doing a video of just all of them would just take forever. But the only thing is that they're not even that developed, and that's what I really didn't like about the series, because there are so many wonderful characters that I would love to see develop more. But the series was pretty short. It was a short watch. The music's by Supercell, so they're an amazing Japanese group, and the action was just phenomenal. The artwork was beautiful, and every time there was an action scene, especially with Shu coming in like kicking ass, some awesome J-rock sound would come in and just hype in the action. The only thing I had a problem with the action is that it was not as epic as it could have been in some action sequences, or they could have developed a little bit more. But because of the awesome J-rock music in the background and the beautifully done animation, outstanding art and music, it just fell in together, and that was awesome. I'd probably, like, from 1 out of 10, I'd rate that a 10 in animation and music. Story-wise, very cliche, very, very cliche. Once you first watched it, I was like, I don't want to say it, but this is a rip-off of another anime, Code Geass, with the power of the king thing, and there's this girl that actually dies, that's Shu's second love interest, I guess, and she's like a Shirley character, and then he becomes like a tyrant for the school, kind of like the Lelouch becomes a dictator for the country. So I was comparing it a lot to Code Geass when I saw it, but I did watch it with an open mind. I didn't even know what was it about. I mean, when I first heard about it, my friends were watching it, and I was like, I'm gonna check it out because they're watching it. I watch it, and I didn't even know it was like about that kind of stuff, and I love that kind of genre and whatever, but it was just too cliche. Too cliche. Like I said, the art's beautiful, the story's cliche. It's an easy watch because there's only 22 episodes. The downside of that is that you don't get too much character development, and that's what I have a problem with too, because there's so many good characters in that series. Like, I wish they made a second season just because I want to see more of the other characters play. Shu's an awesome dude and stuff, and I love him, and I love Guy too, and they're amazing characters to follow, but the character designs on the other characters were really, really good, and I would like to see that play more. So rating scale wise, like I said, art would be a 10 out of 10. Story, I'll give it a 3.5, maybe a 4, just because it's like the same thing and it's copping off on other things. It got me interested, so I finished it. The watch, like I said, it was a quick watch, so I give that maybe a 6, just because I want to see more development in characters with other episodes. So the overall score I'll give it is a 7. I'll give it a 7. So it's A 7 to me is like, if you've got the time, check out this anime because it's really awesome. A number 10 would be like, you better like stop watching this video and watch that damn anime instead. That's a number 10. But yeah, this, if you've got the time and you have nothing to do and you're a fan of anime and you love the sci-fi mecha genre, then definitely check this anime out. I mean, it's something that you should really check out. Yeah, that's my review for Guilty Crown, and please rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.